In this lesson, I want to talk about what are Active Directory roles, and using these roles, how you can provide permission to the different users or to the different groups. So once again, I'm inside my Azure Active Directory, and if I go inside this roles and administrator here, you can see that we have a list of roles here. And all of these roles have different permissions inside it. For example, if I look at application administrator role here, this person who is having this role can create and manage all aspects of app registration, right? And if we look at, for example, global reader role, this person can read everything that a global administrator can do. For example, global administrator, he can do anything. He can manage all aspects of Azure Active Directory. But the global reader, he can read. He cannot change something, but he can read, right? Similarly, we have Power BI administrator. We have reports reader. The one role which particularly I am interested in this demo is this user administrator. Now, this person can manage all aspects of the user group. Basically, he can create user, he can delete user, he can reset their password, right? So once again, if I go to users here, I have so many different users. So if I look at this one user, demo user 11, by default, no user has any role assigned to it. So if I look at this demo user 11, and if I go to assigned roles, this user does not have any role, right? So he should not be able to create user or delete user or so on, right? So in another tab here, I have already logged in using demo user 11. And if I go to users here under Active Directory, you can see that this user cannot create another user. This user does not have right to create another user, right? So what I will do, I will assign a role to this user, and after that we will see that this user will be able to create another user. So add assignment here, and you can see that again we have the list of all these different roles, but we are interested in this user administrator role at this moment. So I will add this role here, and this role is successfully added. I will refresh it. Sometimes it takes a second. Okay, I have this role here. Now, since this user is having this role, this user should be able to create another user. So let me refresh this page here. Sometimes actually it takes a few minutes to get this activated. Let me log out and log in back. Sometimes you have to log in back to reflect all those changes. So we are working with demo user 11. I will log in once again into this account, demo user 11 here, and let me provide my password here. I don't want to do all this protection at this moment. I just want to quickly log in, and let me go to Active Directory, users, and now here you can see that I have option to create new user. So now this user has the permission to create new user because, all right, this was also logged out. So let me log in back to my primary account here quickly. All right, so once again we are back to our primary account, and if I go once again inside the Azure Active Directory, users, demo user 11, you can see that because we have this role here, user administrator role, this user is able to create new user. Now, in the earlier lesson when we were talking about the groups, we discussed that instead of assigning role to an individual user, actually we should assign a role to the group, right? So let's try to do that. If I go back to the groups here, and if I take one of these groups, for example, demo group 1, and if I go to role administrator, and I cannot assign role here, what happened? Why I do not have option to assign a role to this group? Now, if you remember when we created a new group, let me do that. So for example, let me go back to the group here, and let me try to create a new group here. Now, when we create a new group here, you see we have this option. If you remember, we discussed about this. Azure AD roles can be assigned to the group. Now I have to change this to yes. And once I create this, I cannot change this setting later. So if you look at this here, once set, the group's eligibility for role assignment is permanent, right? So earlier group, when we created, we left this default setting there, no. So we could not assign AD roles to that group, right? So let's create another group here, and I can just say, for example, demo group 3, and if you want, we can provide description there. We can assign an owner to this group, or I can add members to this group. So let me add a couple of members. So of course 11, and I want to add 12 also, right? So this is another user I want to add into this group. Now this group has 2 members. Now at the same time, I also want to assign a role to this user, to this group, sorry. So let me assign user administrator role to this group. All right, so we are going to have new group in which we have 2 members and we have user administrator role assigned to this group. So let me create this group here. So I'll just hold on for a second here, and maybe I'll just wait because it takes some time to reflect all these settings. So I'll come back in 2 or 3 minutes. All right, so I just took a quick break of 2 minutes. We can go to assigned roles here, and we can see that this role has been assigned to this group, and all the members of this group now a user administrator. Now in another tab, let me log in using the demo user 12 account, and I should be able to have admin right to create user. So I'll take the login ID for user 12 here, and I will try to log in here for, on my demo user 12 account, and let's see in this account if we have a right to create another user. So now you can see that I'm inside demo user 12, and if I go to Azure Active Directory here under users, now you can see that this user also is having permission to create another user. All right, now someone can ask question that why we cannot change existing group. Once again, if we go to demo group 1 here, we cannot assign roles here. We do not have any option to assign role here. Why we cannot do that? Actually, if you assign an existing group a role, the existing group owner could add other members to this group without these new members realizing that they'll have the role. Now, because this role assignment group is so powerful, Microsoft wants to put a lot of restriction to protect them. And basically, you don't want to change to the group that would be surprising to the member who's managing that group, right? That's why you have to create a new group, or basically this setting should be yes at the time of creation of group if you want to assign a role to this group. But once you create this group without this setting, then later you cannot change setting of this group. All right, so I hope you find it helpful, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.